dragons showcased in House of the Dragon are not just majestic beasts or living weapons of war, they are vital characters in their own right. In this video, we will go through all dragons in the series and explain them one by one in detail. So stay tuned to know everything about all dragons in the series, starting with Cyrax. Cyrax is the dragon ridden by Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, the daughter of King Viserys Targaryen I. Named after a Valyrian goddess, Cyrax is a large and powerful dragon with gold-yellow scales. Rhaenyra began riding Cyrax at a young age, and the two developed a strong bond over the years. Unlike some of the older, more battle-hardened dragons, Cyrax is kept close to King's Landing, often chained and well-fed, which suggests she is not as wild or accustomed to battle as some of the other dragons. Despite this, Cyrax's imposing size and the deep bond with her rider make her a formidable presence in the Targaryen arsenal. In the House of Dragon, Cyrax serves as a symbol of Rhaenyra's claim to the throne. Her loyalty and obedience to Rhaenyra reflect the princess's strong will and determination. As civil war progresses, Cyrax's role becomes increasingly central, particularly as Rhaenyra relies on her dragon to assert her dominance and legitimacy as the heir to the Iron Throne. Then we have Caraxes. Caraxes, also known as the Blood Worm, is one of the most fearsome and recognizable dragons in the House of Dragon. Ridden by Prince Daemon Targaryen, Caraxes is known for his blood-red scales and long, serpentine body, which give him a distinctive and terrifying appearance. Caraxes is older and battle-hardened, having fought in several conflicts before the Dance of the Dragons. Caraxes is renowned for his ferocity in battle, with a reputation for being aggressive and difficult to control. His bond with Daemon Targaryen, who is equally ruthless and ambitious, makes them a formidable pair. Caraxes' size and power, combined with his rider's tactical genius, make him one of the most dangerous dragons during the Civil War. In the series, Caraxes plays a significant role in Daemon's various military campaigns and battles. From the Stepstones campaign to the many confrontations during the Civil War, Caraxes is a constant presence reflecting the aggressive and unyielding nature of his rider. Now, let's talk about Vagar. Vagar is one of the oldest and largest dragons alive during the events of House of the Dragon. Originally ridden by Visenya Targaryen during Aegon's conquest, Vagar is a dragon of immense size and power, second only to Balerion the Black Dread in her prime. By the time of the Dance of the Dragons, Vagar is an ancient and battle-scarred dragon, but still a fearsome force to be reckoned with. Vagar's bronze scales and colossal size make her an imposing figure, and her presence alone can turn the tides of any battle. She's eventually claimed by Prince Aemon Targaryen, who becomes her rider during the Civil War. Vagar's sheer size and strength make her a central figure in the war, particularly in the more devastating dragon battles. In the series, Vagar's significance is profound. As a dragon with a long and storied history, her participation in the Civil War brings an element of ancient power and inevitability to the conflict. Aemon's bond with Vagar, particularly after he claims her, adds layers of tension and drama to the series as Vagar's presence escalates the violence and stakes of the war. Vagar's involvement in key battles, such as the confrontation over Storm's End, is pivotal. Her immense power and Aemon's reckless nature make them a devastating pair, leading to some of the most tragic and destructive moments in the series. She is credited with bringing down Mees and Rhaenys during the Battle of Rook's Nest, which is depicted in Season 2, Episode 4. At Aemon's command, a blast of her fire is also what ultimately takes down Aegon and Sunfire. Then we have Mees. Mees, also known as the Red Queen, is a dragon ridden by Princess Rhaenys Valyrian, often referred to as the Queen Who Never Was. Mees is also known for her striking red scales and exceptional speed, making her one of the fastest dragons during the Dance of the Dragons. Mees is older and battle-experienced, with a reputation for being difficult to tame and control. Rhaenys and Mees share a strong bond, with the dragon's power and speed reflecting the princess's own strength and determination. Despite her relatively advanced age, Mees remains a fierce and agile combatant, capable of holding her own against younger, larger dragons. In the House of Dragon, Melis's role is crucial, particularly as Rhaenys becomes increasingly involved in the Civil War. Melis Melis's speed and agility make her a key asset in several battles where her swift attacks can turn the tide in favor of Rhaenyra's faction. The relationship between Rhaenys and Melis is portrayed as one of mutual respect and shared purpose, with both dragon and rider deeply committed to their cause. Melis's final battle occurs during the battle at Rook's Nest. In this confrontation, Rhaenys and Melis are ambushed by the forces of King Aegon Targaryen II. Aegon II and his brother Aemon Targaryen arrive with their dragons, Sunfire and Vagar respectively. Outnumbered and overpowered, Melis and Rhaenys bravely face the two dragons and their riders. Despite Melis's speed and agility, she is no match for the combined might of Vagar and Sunfire. In the battle, Melis is severely injured and eventually killed. Rhaenys also perishes alongside her dragon, dying in the flames as Melis falls to the ground. The death of Melis and Rhaenys is a significant moment in the Dance of Dragons, symbolizing the high cost of the Civil War. The loss of one of the most experienced and powerful dragons further escalates the conflict, contributing to the tragic downfall of House Targaryen. Now let's talk about Seasmoke. Seasmoke is a young, silver-gray dragon ridden by Laenor Velaryon, the son of Corlys Velaryon and Rhaenys Targaryen. Unlike some of the older dragons, Seasmoke is relatively small and agile, known for his speed and maneuverability in the air. Despite his size, Seasmoke is a fierce and capable dragon, particularly in naval battles where his agility gives him an advantage. Seasmoke's bond with Laenor reflects the Velaryon family's seafaring heritage, with the dragon's swiftness and adaptability mirroring the qualities of his rider. Seasmoke plays a significant role in several key battles, particularly in the Stepstones and other naval engagements. In the series, Seasmoke is depicted as a valuable asset to the Valyrian family and Rhaenyra's cause. His agility and speed make him well suited for quick strikes and rapid maneuvers, which are crucial in several battles during the Civil War. Seasmoke's involvement in the war also highlights the strategic importance of dragons in naval warfare, where their ability to move quickly and strike decisively can be a game changer. The bond between Laenor and Seasmoke is portrayed as one of deep loyalty, with the dragon reflecting his rider's strong sense of duty and honor. However, after Laenor faked his death in Season 1, Episode 7, Seasmoke has been without a rider. Then, in Season 2, Episode 6, another dragon seed attempts to claim Seasmoke, but is unsuccessful. Following this, Seasmoke flies to the Stepstones, where he corners Adam of Hull, a dragon seed loyal to Lord Corlys. In the next episode, it's revealed that Adam has successfully bonded with Seasmoke and become his new rider. Now we're talking about Vermax. Vermax is a young dragon bonded to Jacaerys Velaryon, the eldest son of Rhaenyra Targaryen. Vermax is still growing and not as large or powerful as some of the older dragons, but he is fierce and capable in battle. His scales are a deep green, and like many young dragons, he is still learning to control his fire and flight. Jacaerys and Vermax share a strong bond, with the young prince taking on the responsibility of training and riding his dragon from a young age. Vermax's development throughout the series reflects Jacaerys' own growth as a leader and warrior during the Civil War. Vermax's role in the House of Dragon is significant, particularly as Jacaerys takes on more responsibilities within Rhaenyra's faction. The young dragon's involvement in battles showcases the next generation of Targaryen riders coming into their own, with Vermax's growth mirroring the increasing stakes and pressures faced by his rider. As the series progresses, Vermax's role becomes increasingly important, particularly in the later stages of the war, where his participation in battles emphasizes the tragic cost of the conflict on the younger generation of Targaryens and their dragons. And then we have Arax. Arax is the dragon ridden by Lucerys Velaryon, the second son of Rhaenyra Targaryen. Arax is a young and relatively small dragon with pale yellow scales that give him a bright and distinct appearance. Despite his size, Arax is fiercely loyal to Lucerys and has a spirited personality, reflecting the bond between the young prince and his dragon. Due to his youth, Arax is less experienced in battle compared to some of the older dragons. However, his loyalty to Lucerys and his eagerness to protect his rider make him a courageous participant in the Civil War. Arax's involvement in the conflict, particularly his role in key confrontations, highlights the dangers faced by younger dragons and their riders. In House of the Dragon, Arax plays a pivotal role in one of the most tragic moments in the Dance of the Dragons. The confrontation between Cyrax and Vagar, ridden by Aemon Targaryen over Storm's End, is one of the most infamous events in the series. This encounter leads to the death of Lucerys and the destruction of Cyrax, marking a significant escalation in the Civil War. Cyrax's tragic fate is a turning point in the series. His story is one of youthful bravery cut short by the brutal forces of war, and his death becomes a catalyst for further bloodshed and revenge. But what about Traxis? Traxis is a dragon bonded to Joffrey Valyrian, the youngest son of Rhaenyra Targaryen. Traxis is still relatively small and not fully grown, with bright green scales that are a striking feature of his appearance. Like many young dragons, Traxis is still learning to master his abilities, but he shows great potential and a fierce loyalty to his rider. Although Traxis is not as prominent in battle as some of the larger dragons, his bond with Joffrey is strong, and the young prince is eager to prove himself alongside his dragon. Due to his youth and the age of his rider, Traxis does not play a major role in the key battles of the Civil War. However, the fate of Traxis is closely tied to the tragic end of his rider. Joffrey, in a desperate attempt to help his family during the Civil War, tries to fly on his mother Rhaenyra's dragon Cyrax when King's Landing is under attack. Unfortunately, Joffrey falls to his death from Cyrax. Traxis, who is still relatively small and inexperienced, does not play a direct role in these events. After Joffrey's death, Traxis remains in Dragonstone. In the war, many of the younger dragons like Traxis are either killed, abandoned, or left riderless as the Targaryen Civil War destroys the dragon population. While the series does not focus heavily on Traxis' later fate, it is likely that he, like many other dragons during this period, either perished or was left without a rider as the Targaryens and their dragons were devastated by the Civil War. Next up, we have Sunfire. In House of the Dragons, Sunfire, also known as the Golden, is the dragon ridden by King Aegon Targaryen II. Sunfire is notable for his stunning golden scales, which make him one of the most beautiful dragons in Westeros. However, his story during the Dance of the Dragons is marked by significant tragedy and suffering. Sunfire's first major engagement during the Civil War occurs during the battle at Rook's Nest. Here, Aegon II and Sunfire, alongside Aemon Targaryen on Vagar, face off against Rhaenys Targaryen on her dragon Melis. While they eventually succeed in killing Melis and Rhaenys, Sunfire is severely injured in the battle. He sustains a broken wing and is badly burned, leaving him unable to fly. After the battle, Sunfire attempts to recover but remains in a weakened state. He is forced to land on the shores near Dragonstone, where he slowly recovers. During this time, he is vulnerable and isolated from Aegon II. Sunfire's condition worsens, and he is attacked by the supporters of Rhaenyra, who injure him further, causing even more damage to his already broken wing. Despite his injuries, Sunfire eventually reunites with Aegon II and is involved in one final battle against Moondancer, a much smaller dragon ridden by Baela Targaryen, Rhaenyra's stepdaughter. In this fight, Sunfire's superior size and strength allow him to kill Moondancer, but battle inflicts further injuries on Sunfire. He is left even more crippled and unable to fly or fight effectively. After the battle with Moondancer, Sunfire's condition continues to deteriorate. The dragon, once a symbol of Aegon II's power and majesty, is now just a shadow of his former self. Sunfire eventually succumbs to his injuries and dies at Dragonstone, shortly after Rhaenyra's forces capture the island. Sunfire's tragic fate mirrors the decline of Aegon II's fortunes during the Dance of the Dragons. His demise marks the end of one of the last significant dragons of the Targaryen line, contributing to the overall decline of dragonkind in Westeros. Next, we have Dreamfire. Dreamfire is a slender and graceful dragon with blue and silver scales, ridden by Helaena Targaryen, the sister wife of Aegon II. Dreamfire is known for her agility and speed, making her one of the more mobile dragons during the Dance of the Dragons. She had a long history even before the Civil War, having been hatched during the reign of King Jaehaerys Targaryen I. Dreamfire's bond with Helaena is tender and reflects the gentle nature of her rider. Although Dreamfire is not involved in as many battles scales as other dragons. Her presence is significant due to her connection with Helena, who becomes a tragic figure in the Civil War. In the series, Dreamfire represents a different side of the Targaryen dragons, one that is not defined by ferocity and power, but by grace and elegance. Her bond with Helena adds emotional depth to the series, showcasing the softer, more tragic aspects of the Targaryen family. Now, let's talk about Vermithor. Vermithor, known as the Bronze Fury, is an older, massive dragon with bronze scales, once ridden by King Jaehaerys Targaryen I. Vermithor is one of the largest and most powerful dragons in Westeros during the time of the Dance of the Dragons, second only to Vagar. After the death of Jaehaerys, Vermithor was left riderless for many years, residing on Dragonstone. Vermithor is eventually claimed by Hugh Hammer, a dragon seed, a bastard of Targaryen lineage, during the Dance of the Dragons. Vermithor's re-emergence during the Civil War signals the return of the older, more experienced dragons to the battlefield, bringing with them the raw power of a bygone era. In House of the Dragon, Vermithor's role is significant as it reflects the involvement of the older generation of dragons in the Civil War. Vermithor's sheer size and strength make him a formidable force, and his participation in the war serves as a reminder of the Targaryen dynasty's former glory. Vermithor's story in the series also explores the theme of legacy and the consequences of reviving old powers in a new conflict. The dragon's bond with Hugh Hammer, a non-Targaryen, highlights the desperate and chaotic nature of the war, where even the most ancient and powerful dragons are drawn back into the fray. Now we are talking about Moondancer. Moondancer, written by Baela Targaryen, is first mentioned in Season 1, Episode 10 of House of the Dragon. She makes a brief appearance in Season 2, Episode 3, where Baela is seen patrolling on Moondancer and spots Criston Cole and Gwaine Hightower. Eventually, this dragon meets a tragic end. Moondancer, ridden by Baela, engages in a fierce battle with Sunfire, dragon of Aegon Targaryen II, during an intense confrontation over Dragonstone. Despite Moondancer's ability and speed, she is ultimately overpowered by the larger and more powerful Sunfire. Moondancer is killed in the battle, and Baela is severely injured but survives. The event underscores the heavy toll the Targaryen Civil War takes on both dragons and their riders. Next up, we have Sheepstealer. Sheepstealer is a wild dragon that lives on Dragonstone during the Dance of the Dragons. This scabrous, mud-brown dragon is known for his fondness for mutton and has never been claimed by any rider. In Season 1, Daemon Targaryen brings up 3 wild dragons on Dragonstone during a Black Council meeting. By the start of the Civil War, Sheepstealer has moved to the Vale of Arryn. There, Rhaena and Joffrey find the remains of livestock that Sheepstealer has burned and eaten near the Eyrie. In the season finale, Sheepstealer is seen soaring over the Vale as Rhaena spots him. He is seen feeding on sheep carcasses before roaring at Rhaena's approach. This encounter leaves viewers wondering if she will be able to bond with him. Now we are going to talk about Stormcloud. Stormcloud is a relatively minor dragon in the series, notable for being one of the lesser-known dragons involved in the Targaryen conflict. Stormcloud is characterized by his dark scales, which blend into the stormy skies, adding to his intimidating presence. In Season 2, Episode 6 of House of the Dragon, viewers get their first glimpse of the dragon belonging to young Aegon Targaryen III. Aegon, the son of Daemon and Rhaenyra Targaryen, received a dragon egg at birth, which hatched into a small orange dragon. Though the dragon has not yet been named in the series, it is known from the books that the dragon is called Stormcloud. Next, let's talk about Silverwing. Silverwing, a previously unclaimed dragon who once roosted in Dragonstone, is claimed by Ulf White, the dragon seed in Season 2, Episode 7. Before this, Silverwing was ridden by Queen Alysanne Targaryen, the wife and sister of King Jaehaerys Targaryen I, who himself rode the dragon Vermithor. She is a dragon known for her striking appearance, characterized by her silver-gray scale. Silverwing is a relatively older and inexperienced dragon, notable for her role in the civil conflict. Next up is Tessarion. In House of the Dragon, Tessarion, known as the Blue Queen, is a dragon belonging to House Targaryen and is ridden by Prince Daeron Targaryen. Tessarion is notable for her striking cobalt blue scales and copper-colored wings and frills. She hatched around the same time as Vermax during the reign of King King Viserys Targaryen I and has recently begun flying with her rider, Taran. In Season 2, Tessarian's role becomes more prominent during meetings of the Green Council. Lord Jasper Wilde advises King Aegon II to deploy Taran and Tessarian from Old Town to assert control over the Riverlands. Later, Lord Wilde informs Prince Aemon that Tessarian and Taran have taken to the skies to support their cause just before the council is disrupted by the appearance of Silverwing and Ult. Tessarian and Taran are seen soaring above the Hightower army as they march to war, showcasing their readiness and the dragon's involvement in the conflict. Now let's talk fast about Grey Ghost. Grey Ghost remained a wild and untamed dragon and would often go out for food and spend its time in a nest at Dragonstone. Throughout the war and its aftermath, Grey Ghost remained unclaimed and was eventually killed and partially devoured by another dragon. Now, let's talk about the most powerful dragon of all of them, Valyrian. Valyrian, the Black Dread, has not been featured in the series House of the Dragon, but the legendary dragon still makes an impact on the show and was one of the biggest symbols of power for the Targaryen dynasty. According to Viserys I in House of Dragon Season 1, Valyrian was the last living creature to have seen old Valyria before the Doom. For reference, Vagar, who is the largest and oldest living dragon in House of the Dragon, was born on Dragonstone and never saw Valyria. Valyrian's first and most significant rider was Aegon the Conqueror himself, who is perhaps the most important Targaryen in history. The dragon is considered the strongest of the show, and the only one that could maybe fight him is the next one. Talking about it, this dragon is the next one, and his name is the Cannibal. The Cannibal was a wild dragon, meaning he had no rider and could not be controlled. Two other wild dragons were living in Dragonstone at that time, Sheepstealer and Grey Ghost, but Cannibal was by far the most dangerous. No Targaryen was brave or foolish enough to try to claim Cannibal as their dragon. He is known to eat other dragons and to be the wildest dragon that ever existed. He is maybe even more old than the first dragon of the first King Valyrian. We don't know that much about him, but we do hope to see him in the show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell to be notified of any of the latest uploads. That said, see you in the next one. Bye!